Hey, g'day, it's Josh here from Physique Essentials, creating the Elite Physique Project, and I'm with my recently graduated client, Steve here, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good, Josh. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good, good. What's happening in your world? Looks like it's sensational, the weather.
Yeah, it's all good here, mate. All nice days, making the most of it, getting outside before winter comes along.
Oh, nice. You see that sign in the sun? I'll just sit here in my garage all blurred out so no one sees where I am. Garage, office, gym, bike workshop, you name it. It's everything in there. So no,
The
mate.
Mecca.
Cool. So look, before we get into sharing some of your results and your journey and all that sort of stuff, so if you can just give us a soldier's five on your background and all that sort of stuff, because I want to lead into that. It's going to be a really good segue into some of the stuff I want to share. So,
Yeah, righto. I suppose about 16 years ago, some mates we bought some push bikes and decided we'd do some road riding.
yep.
And after that, we decided we'd give half Ironman a go, half Ironman. So we started doing some mini tries and things like that. And then in 2013, we did the Shepparton half Ironman.
Yep.
16 weeks of training, 6 days a week, you know, distance, speed, all the stuff you need to do. Knocked ourselves around a bit, got it done. Very happy with that.
Yep. And
Got to the end of it, thought,
for those who don't know what a half Ironman is, like what is it? What's the length?
oh, it's a 1,500 meter swim
Yep.
and then a 90K bike ride and then a half marathon 21.1K run at the end.
Insanity. And to think the
So,
full Ironman is double that.
yeah, it is. I haven't been there.
It's insanity. But interesting what you just said there. Like, so you're training like 6 days a week and you've got to do the miles. You've got to do the miles.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It was a hard slog. And, you get to the end of that event, you just absolutely shag. Everything just happens at once and it's all over. And then, old habits creep back in and
Okay.
you sort of celebrate for maybe a bit long, and then decide to do another one. So we did another one in 2016,
Yep.
2015, sorry.
Yep.
And that was good. But I've enjoyed them. I wouldn't say I'm a long distance athlete, but I've enjoyed them, done some half marathons,
Yep.
done one marathon. But I must say throughout all that journey, I've never been as lean or fit as I feel at the moment.
Cool. That's cool. And it's interesting that you just said lean and fit because often we do think they're the same, but they
Mm,
are kind of polar opposites. You know what I mean? If you think of
mm,
that, like if you think in terms of composition, and the reason why I wanted you to bring up the triathlete background, it's because through the project and through the process of working with me, I usually use triathlon as a progressive goal. Not that I tell people they should do triathlon or whatever, but it really is the polar opposite of what we do. So when you
yeah.
think about training for an outcome, specificity, maximizing results in the gym for minimal time investment, because we're all busy, work, kids, career, and all that sort of stuff. Where
Yep.
the try is completely different and trying to show that it's a very similar framework. But by the definition of fitness, it's just being able to achieve an outcome. And to
Mm.
say that even during all your half Ironman days, that you're leaner now as a result from what we've been doing compared to that. Like that's what I really want to bring into this.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said the other day, I went for a bit of a trot the other day, and it's the first time in a long time that I've not had stuff jiggling when I was running. It was just such a good feeling. And I suppose looking back, my body composition was totally different at the end of the half Ironmans and all that sort of stuff. I was not as broader on the shoulders and, more like, not lean, just
Yep.
skinny up top, not muscular.
Yep.
And at the end of it all, I never felt strong, but it's a completely different scenario now.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, it is good.
And then we could lead into another triathlon and then you just like blitz them. You never know, you never know. But no, but that's cool. And yeah, as I said, like I often use the a triathlon itself as a progressive scale because who knows, like once you go through this process, and I know as kids, like you could ask a child what they want to do when they want to grow up. I'm going to be an astronaut, a fireman, whatever. And as we get
Mm.
older and sometimes not so exciting jobs kind of creep in, all that sort of stuff. And, we put on weight and all that. We lose the ability to dream. We kind of become just It's going through the motions. This is what is normal. I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50, whatever.
Yeah.
Now to be able to sit back and it's like when you get your health back in check or at an optimal level, and if you've never been as lean as you are now, and all of a sudden it's like, what could I achieve next? What could I go? So I often use the example of triathlon because it is so left field. It's like far out. So to reverse engineer that, that's really cool. That's really cool. And
Yeah.
again, like the training that we have been doing has been polar opposite to that.
Oh, it has, yeah. You know, your 3 days a week,
Mm.
your 4 exercises, your 2 sets, all planned out in 45 minutes at the max.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's something that's really achievable. I suppose after I've done the runs and things like that, I bought a few of those online weight programs, 5 days a week, and you do your 3 weights and then 2 of cardio. And still, it's not sustainable in my mind. Well, I haven't kept it up. So what we have done, what you and I have done, and what I've learned here is that you must eat. You got to eat.
Yeah.
So you might as well eat right.
Yep.
So you're going to do that anyway, and then that's some of it done. 3 days a week in the gym for 45 minutes. You can do it on your ear. It's
Yeah.
not an impost at all.
No.
And to get the results that we have, you'd be silly not to try it.
And that's what I mean. Like, and the results coming from a fit guy who turned around and lost, what is it, 11 and a half or 12 and a half centimeters from the waist. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it is good. Very happy with it.
And that's what I mean. Like the general consensus is we want to be able to get the greatest possible result in the fastest possible time by doing the least amount of work, eating the most amount of food, and having the most amount of flexibility within the lifestyle so you can get out there and do the things that you want.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I couldn't imagine what was the time investment when you were doing the tri training.
Oh, mate, like I said, it was 6 days a week. It was early mornings, and sometimes twice a day. You'd have a run in the morning, a ride in the afternoon. Fridays was always a swim day, long run on a Saturday, long ride on a Sunday.
Yep.
Have Wednesdays off. It was a significant amount of time. It was a really big commitment.
And to be fair, like I want to be fair, like we trained. That was two different outcomes, two completely different.
Oh yeah.
Like if you wanted to do triathlon, you have to do the miles, you have to do the time. But the similarity in the belief of a lot of the guys when they reach out is they think they need to follow that similar structure when it comes to just getting in the shape. They feel they need to be in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. They need to be struggling on about 800 calories a day. They need to be doing daily cardio, if not twice a day. That's what they're led to believe. If you look at typical gym-based challenges or summer challenges or whatever, that's what it is. And they're later then by their gym rewarded for the amount of days or the amount of sessions they turn up. Hey, you did 45 sessions for the month of January. Fantastic. I'm like, holy shit. Like, there is no way that is going to be sustainable or scalable or in any way enjoyable. Not for the long term, because you'll get the result, but you're going to need some time off. And then, without sustainable habits and real frameworks built in, the kilos start coming back on. You're starting to get a bit lazy. I might have another week off. And before you know it, you're signing up to the next challenge. So some could say it's a really snazzy marketing ploy or a little bit of inability to think outside the square. But,
I think it's the way we're built too. After this process we've been through, I don't really feel like having time off. Like, I've achieved a result, but I don't feel as though I need to rest. This is just going to continue to roll on. Whereas, doing your marathons and Ironmans, the event you just have to shag, like I said before.
Yeah.
You just want to do nothing, and that nothing turns into a bit, and then you think, oh, I've been training like a dog, done this, 6 hours of slogging, a few more beers, have a bit more food, just doesn't make sense when I look back. But that was what I knew then, and I thought I'll do this and I'll be fit. I was probably aerobically fit, but not like I am
it's
now.
a different type of fitness. And again, it's like
Yeah.
I've had so many guys who've reached out and they've told me all the things that they've done in the past, and they never get to the end point. They're never graduating from a program or finishing it and feeling a sense of empowerment and purpose, and they can continue on. They're usually shagged and broken. They look great. They'll look great because they got the hair, the tan, and all that sort of stuff, and everything is fantastic because it just becomes the next marketing image. But in terms of themselves, they're like, oh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. And for me, it's just like the plan has been done poorly. There's been no purpose. And not saying that, you have to train every week for the rest of your life. Like, you can sit back and you can program accordingly. I'm going to go pretty hard for the next 6 weeks because we've got something coming up at work. It's going to require my ultimate focus. I'm going to have a week off, or I might just do different things. Or I'm going on holidays. I'm going overseas. I'm going to have some
Yep.
time off. We're going to go do social things, whatever. And this is part of building that into a lifestyle.
Mm.
Where otherwise you're training at such a high volume that you think, oh my God, I can't have any time off. If I have any time off, the wheels will fall off the wagon, because so much of my identity now is linked to I go to the gym every day and I never cheat on my diet. And we've got to flip it, because I know of your work and stuff like that. So you're always on the move and traveling around and things. Like, you've got to make this work for you, not against you.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I suppose the other thing with the nutrition and stuff, I've fired you a few questions on that and asked for some critical feedback, which I've appreciated. And it's just my ownership of that is finding it myself. And sometimes when you say, "Oh, I wouldn't have had that cheeseburger," I'm thinking, well, I was out with the family. We're at a burger place, and that choice fitted in with my numbers.
That's
And
it.
at the end of the day, I own that,
Yep.
and that's how I'm going to run with it. So it's making those good choices and understanding the food that you need to have and what fuels you. And I think that's been the kicker on this. This was
Cool.
probably something that's been missing all the way through my training.
And I'm glad that you picked that up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to sit back and say, this is the diet. Don't deviate. Don't ask
Mm.
questions. If you can't stick to it, you're obviously not committed enough and you don't want enough. I don't think that does anything. I think all it does is teaches you how to follow a plan and to foster
Yeah,
an eating disorder in the
yeah,
reality. You know what I mean? And because there's nothing worse than, in that situation, if you are there and the rest of the family's doing something and you're eating cold beans out of a Tupperware container, unless playing devil's advocate relative to the goal and the time frame, it's like, this is a conscious
oh, for
decision
sure.
I'm making at this time. I know the burger's not bad, but I'm just choosing to do this, and I'll have a burger
Mm.
next week. Then it
Yeah,
comes a decision, you know what I mean? But I think that, for most people, for the goals that they want, a couple of slip ups per week is fine. But again, as I've always done, is we want to try and understand the context of a slip up, because sometimes a slip up might just be by label. We go, oh, a burger is bad, but
yeah,
hang on, when we look at the numbers and the fact that, yeah, you had a burger last week and a couple of beers and a wine or whatever, and you're still a kilo down in body fat and a centimeter and a half smaller off the waist. Obviously, you're
mm.
doing something right. So maybe the burger and the beers is the secret weapon.
But I think that's the key to making it last for the rest of your life too.
Yeah.
You just make those informed decisions and the right choices.
Yep.
And if you decide to skip, well, you own it. You
That's it.
decided, but you know what it's going to cost you,
That's
and
it.
that's been the gold medal.
And sometimes too, that you can also utilize that in your favor. Let's just say it's Saturday, or say it's Tuesday night, and you're going out for Saturday night, you're going to the movies and going to have a burger. And it's like, well, cool, I'm going to work a little bit harder for the next few days. I stay a little bit more
Yeah,
nutritionally compliant. I train a little bit harder and this and that. And not that necessarily Saturday then becomes a reward per se, but it's just that I can do something guilt-free. I factored things in, I make an analytical decision, and people will then continue to look at me and go, oh my God, like, why do you get leaner and you eat burgers? But the way I
mm.
see it, it's no different than if you're planning on going on a holiday and you're saving a little bit of cash for the trip,
Yeah,
or you're going to jump in the car and drive 4 hours and you're putting some fuel in the tank. It's just being accountable with life circumstances, understanding the situation, putting things in the context, and then just getting to work. And that's it. Because
yeah,
I think a lot of the times we put, bad labels on things. We say food's bad, or this is bad, or that's bad, or you've got to have this or that or whatever, and you can be overweight, but it's body positivity and all this stuff. The reality is if we just take ownership of ourselves and the choices that we make, we are 100% in control of our outcomes. And
yeah,
that's what then brings that long-term, sustainable and scalable future.
yeah.
So obviously burgers are the key.
Most and a sneaky beer.
Because I don't drink the beer. I'll have a cider, but I do love my burgers.
Can't beat a Frankie's burger,
No, you love the burgers.
mate.
But again, sometimes burgers can be too much. They've become too wanky. They're too huge, and it's like that's not a
Oh
burger.
yeah, yeah,
Give me
no.
something that I can hold on to and doesn't require a knife and fork and falls apart in my hands. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
let's
a
keep it
smart choice.
simple. No, that's really cool. And as I said, like coming from the background, like you've achieved some ridiculous goals, which is really cool. And it's one of those things again. A lot of the guys I speak to, and they think, oh yeah, as I'm getting older, over 40, over 50, over 40, it's all downhill. I can't get the results that I had when I was in my 20s and this and that, and blah, 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 bullshit. Yeah, the fact that you're now leaner than you've ever been,
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty remarkable. It just goes to show what really is achievable with the right mindset and the right application and the right consistency and just doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And I think the learnings we do along the way too are important. And
Yeah,
they're another key that you don't get elsewhere.
no,
It
cool.
just helps you change your thinking, focus on things a little bit differently. And, yeah, just understand how things work. You can do stuff for yourself and you can still keep other people happy.
And how they work within you. And
Yeah.
that's a big element in this. It really comes down to a process of self-mastery, which I identify as just becoming a better problem solver. If we
Mm.
view all problems or all obstacles as a potential to slow us down, or they could be an opportunity for us to discover something new. So
Yeah.
as we go through this process, this project, we're actually doing two things at once. We are creating, rapid application. I don't want to sit back and go, okay, we're going to spend the first 6 weeks just doing some theory stuff, and then we're going to put a training program
Mm.
into place. Like we get running pretty quick. We go through our onboarding. I get to see how you're moving, all that sort of stuff, and then we're away. And then we're
Yeah.
trying to play a little bit of catch up. So I'm trying to bring all the theory into it as well, and not just theory from a textbook perspective, as in learn this. Because one of the things that we do know is the landscape is continually changing. Like the
Mm.
views on nutrition are continually changing. People obsess about, oh, should I eat this at this time of night? And should I eat carbs? Or what should I do with my fats and all that? And I just try to keep things really simple. Eat for a goal, eat to satisfy your worldview, which is all the emotional stuff, the family, kids, and work and all that.
Yeah.
Train for purpose. That's it. Train with an object in mind. So really what I'm trying to do is kind of change your mindset a little bit to be a little bit more open to questioning things that you see. So now that when you see the latest and greatest program pop up that says, okay, I need to do 21 sets for arms 3 days a week, why? How's that going to work for me? What is the benefit? What is the outcome going to be?
Mm.
And then how does it going to work with my work balance schedule? It's like, well, it ain't going to work. It's bullshit. It's just a scam. So I will move on. So
Yep.
we become a little bit more critical thinking, and the goals that you originally want at the start, so it becomes this primary goal. I want to lose the centimeters, want to lose the body fat. If anything, with everything else that you gain, it's almost like the physical results now become a bonus. They're just like the
Yeah.
sprinkles on the cupcake. It's like, this is the fact that I'm leaner and fitter and stronger. This is awesome. The fact that I've gained lean mass and lost body fat at the same time, being over 50 and a triathlete, is mind blowing. But that still kind of is cool because I've learned all these other things as well, like how to have my burgers
Yeah.
and my beer.
Yep. That's it. That's why it's a winner, mate.
Cool. And that's what I mean. And like, I'm yet to really meet anyone like, sustainable results is one thing, but then being able to put this process into the next steps and enable it to keep building upon it and keep building
Yeah.
upon it. And I'm not going to ask you what's next because a lot of the times we don't know what's next. And that's also exciting. It's like I'm now in a position where I really know that I'm in control of my body. I'm in control of my outcome. If I want to get stronger, I know what to do. If I want to get leaner, I know what to do. It just becomes fun,
It
exploitable.
does.
Yeah,
Mm.
cool. Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask, so this has been a good journey for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been very good, and it seems as though it went quick.
Yep.
I've enjoyed it all. Done every bit of it. Nothing's been too difficult. Actually, it's all seemed reasonably easy, to be
I'm
honest.
glad in that aspect it's gone quick because I could have
Yeah,
dragged this out. and dragged it out for no intentional purpose. You know what I mean? It's like drag it, drag it, drag. But my thinking is, and again, like we have to quantify what the process is because we're really trying to learn a skill set. And I'm just kind of trying to open your eyes to things. So it makes sense to be able to do that in the shortest possible time. If I could do it in 3 weeks, I would. You know what I mean? But I think we need a little bit more time than 3 weeks.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
the beautiful part about this is it's not just a process that's done once. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like you continue to go through, you can continue to refine, and every time that you do something, you look at it differently. And if you think now that what you know now compared to what you knew 2.5 months ago is completely different. So
yeah,
you're never starting again from point zero. It's now
no,
a whole new level. It's like I'm now starting from level 9. What could I continue to achieve? So that's cool. That is cool. And
yeah.
also, like, so if there was someone else, like if you could offer your advice, if they were sitting on the fence and they weren't sure what to do and they had a similar background to yourself, what would you say?
Oh, just do it. Don't think twice and do it. You know, it's well worth it. Like I said, the learnings for me were the, you know, most enjoyable and the most
Cool.
beneficial. Um, and just none of it was too difficult. Like I'd do this twice a week if instead of training for a half Ironman.
That could be a
It'd probably be
possibility.
twice as little.
We could get you up on stage. We'll cut down the
Yeah.
train. But you know what?
Yeah, no,
That's the thing. Like I work with another guy, Bill. I've shared his story lots, and yeah, like part of his journey was going through, getting back into shape and all that sort of stuff, and that kind of led the doors to come back open. He done triathlon in the
mm,
past, short course triathlon, and going so far as being selected for an Australian Masters team. It's an amazing thing when you realize that you really are in control of your outcomes. It's wild
mm,
because all of a sudden the things that we believe, as in like, getting older, have to slow down, this and that or whatever. It's like, not saying that age doesn't affect us. We might not have the same recovery abilities that we do in our 20s, but we also may have more. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like we don't know unless we just take stock and apply and go for it. But we'll never know until we take ownership. We discover the truth of what's really going on, and then yeah, just make a commitment for a better life, a better outcome.
yep.
Awesome, man.
As
Thank you
easy as
for
that,
sharing
Mark.
your words. Cool, cool.
No worries
Awesome.
at all.
How to wrap that up, I am Josh. This was Steve. And if you've liked anything that I've shared here and you want to know more, want to grab one of my free trainings, you'll be able to simply click on the link below this video on this page or wherever. Reach out. I'm very easy to find. And we'll go from there. Mate, thank you again for your time.
No worries, Josh. Thank you,
We'll
mate.
chat soon. All righty. Okay. Have an awesome day.